Okay, so what we have here is opposing mallard wings, and what we're going to do here is basically take one of these quills and just break it off. Tear it right on out of there. And then on the opposing wing, take one and just break it off, pull it right out. So what you basically have here are two quills that are fairly close and matching. What I don't use, I'm just basically, don't look like I'm going to use this portion through here. I'm just going to tear it off. Get it out of there. All it's going to do is seek to confuse and befuddle. Get all the stuff out of there that you're not going to use. Now, whenever I tie flies, I always keep my scissors around my ring finger, no matter what it is I'm doing. As you can see here, my desk looks abnormally clean. Usually it's just full of crap. There's stuff everywhere, and you go to set your scissors down, and next thing you know, you cannot find them, and you'll spend 10-15 minutes looking for them. If you happen to become a commercial fly tyer, speed is everything, so you probably want to keep those just like that. Now what I'm going to do here is we're going to be putting this on a size 12 hook, and I'm going to take an appropriate width of this mallard wing, and I'm just going to basically separate it from the rest here. Okay, going to turn it over, can separate it. Now when I go to cut this, I'm going to cut it like this. Bring it in right here, and I'm going to compress all of those together so that when you get done, your cut should look just like that, that little teeny U, and you have one piece that's intact, and it's going to look just like that. Set it aside. Let's take the other wing here and do the exact same thing. I'm going to separate one piece from the rest. This one might actually be a little bit thicker, and I can always change it. I'm going to come in and I'm going to compress those quills together, and then boom, and again, as you see, there's a little U, and that means I've compressed those together so that they stay together. And now what I can do is basically put my wings together. Now comes the tricky part in getting them onto a hook. So let's work on that. Alright, well, let's do the duckquill pinch. So as you can see, I've got a size 12 hook on here. Really great size to learn with. Now when I set my hook inside the vise, you can see that I'm not setting it way back here, because that's just, it's too difficult to work with the hook. So just grab that last little bit, level it out, and there you have it. Now I'll be using 6/0 thread. For a beginner, I would really suggest using a 3/0 thread instead. Just a little bit easier to work with, more difficult to break. So as I set my thread on here, one thing I'm keeping in mind, you'll notice that I'm setting it forward part of the hook. Now here is my barb. My tail set will be here. Now if I were to measure between here and here, the eye, and measure that, divide it into thirds, my wing set's going to be right about there. So what I'm going to do here in just a moment is wrap back forward and put my thread right where I want it to be as far as my wings go. So it should be right about there. Off camera, what I'm doing here is just grabbing my my wings that I've already pre-made. These again are mallard quills, and let me tell you, if you can learn how to do the duckquill pinch with mallard, which is not the easiest stuff to work with, And you can put anything on top of a hook. Now, as I put my wings on top of the hook, you'll notice that that is just way too long. If I set those in place right there, it's going to be way too long. We want it about 2 times, maybe 2 1/4, that gap of the hook. Conversely, if I tie them on like that, that's about a size 18 on a size 12 hook. It's not going to look right. It's not going to be in the dimensions of a mayfly. So what I'm going to do here is just try to grab them at about where it's going to be for a size 12. And getting to know that, it just takes a little bit of time and a little bit of effort. Now what I'm going to do is that when I wrap this thread around the front here, what I'll do is you'll see me move my thumb out of the way. And then I'll grab that forward part of the thread, secure it. And as I wrap around the hook, I'm going to tuck the thread back in. I'm going to release my index finger and then re-grab that thread on the back side. That way I have control over the wing, I have control over the thread. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So I tuck it into my thumb, I go to the back, I release that pinch right there. Didn't quite get it. Let's go back again. Kind of hard to do when you're doing it slow. There we go. And now I haven't pulled down on the thread yet. I've got the wings and the thread. Now if I do this right, I'm going to pull down on the bobbin. You're going to see these wingtips, they're going to rise simultaneously here. And I'm not going to release this grip. So let's give it a shot here. Go real slow and watch those wings come up just like that. Now what I want to do here is the next wrap that I make, I want to be one behind the wrap I just made here. So without releasing it, I'm going to tuck it back behind, do it again, the same duckbill pinch, release that index finger and get that thread back behind the original turn. Now I'm going to release this. And you can see my 2 threads in there. Notice I'm not releasing this index finger. Now what I can do is come around again, release that grip on the back side, bring it down, and then boom, I should have this. And there's those wraps. Now I can release my duckbill pinch. I'm going to come around very slowly. Now here you're going to notice my index finger is going to come back and it's going to support these wings so they don't roll over the back side of that hook. Pull down, around, index finger back, pull down, and then one more and I should pretty much have it. And I can release it completely. Now here what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off this end of the wing that I don't need anymore. If you'll notice, I'm not cutting straight up and down. I'm going to cut it at an angle. Nothing on a mayfly is abrupt. Everything is tapered. It's a beautiful little creature, and you want your flies to look the same way. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap towards the rear of the hook until I get down to bare hook here. And right there, pretty much got it. And now I'm going to wrap back. You notice it's kind of tapering bigger as I get closer to the wings. That'll help down the road when we make the body of the mayfly, which is tapered in real life. And then right here, I want to make sure I don't go back over my wings that I just set. Now what I can do is take these wings, pull them up, and they're pretty tough. You don't have to handle them with kids' gloves. Now what you have to do here is make a series of wraps right in front of the wing. Again, we're going to do this in a tapered fashion. I'm going to wrap forward. I'm going to come back, and again I'm going to be building thread as I get closer to the wing. And I can release them. Now if they are still wanting to push forward, no big deal. That's not a big deal. Just take your index finger of your right hand, push down right here. It breaks those fibers down at the very base of the wing. And then just take a couple more wraps. 1 and 2 should do it. And there you have it. Duckbill pinch, 2 wings sitting right up on the hook. And what you can do is I'm going to bring these down so you can see them lengthwise there, sorry. Take your scissors and just go right in between them and separate them. Bring it back out and kind of bring this forward a little bit. Still wanting to pitch forward a little bit, no big deal. I'm going to take another wrap or two around the base of the wing. And there you have it. And that's the duckbill pinch. And like I said, if you can do this technique with mallard quills, then you can do it with anything that you go to apply the hook. Not easy at first, but with a little bit of practice, you can get it down. My best suggestion is get a size 12 box of hooks and then just go over it. Tie a whole bunch of these until you can get them to look pretty much like that right there. So now we can go back and take a look at what we've done. Is my wing set correct? So let's just take a look here. Here's my tail set, and I'm going to count in thirds. 2, 3, so that's pretty much in the right position. Now let me see here. I want my wings to be approximately 2 to 2.5 times the hook gap. So here's my hook gap. There's one more hook gap, and then one more on top of that. So I got about 2 1/4 on the length of the wing. So it is really right where I want it to be. And now what I can do is wrap towards the rear and start setting my tail in place, and we'll do that in another video.